Am I the asshole for not wanting to get rid of my dog for my pregnant sister? So my 15 male dad died not that long ago. It'll be 6 months next week. My mum moved us out of our house because she said that it hurt her too much to be there, and now we're living in this new house for 2 months, and I hate it. Last month, my 20-year-old sister told us that she's pregnant, so now her and my mum are getting ready for a baby in the house. To be honest, I'm not really excited like them, but I thought whatever. Until yesterday, my sister told me that I have to get rid of my dog before the baby comes. I asked her why, and she said because dogs are bad for pregnant women and newborn babies because they carry germs and parasites. I told her that's not true. I always bathe my dog, he has all his shots, and we take him to the vet regularly. He's also been around lots of babies before, and he's super friendly to them, so he can't be a danger to her baby. My sister got mad, so she got my mum involved. She told my mum that I was being a brat and that I don't care that I'm poisoning her baby. I told my mum that I didn't want to get rid of my dog. My dad bought him for me as a puppy on my 9th birthday. There's been lots of changes these months. Losing my dad, us moving, and now getting ready for a new baby. My dog is the last connection to my dad. My mum's not home much, and neither is my sister, so I feel like all I have is my dog. I explained to my mum why I don't want to get rid of him. She said she understands that he's important to me, but I need to stop thinking about myself and consider my baby niece or nephew. I said I don't even believe my dog is so bad for my sister's pregnancy. She never liked him since Dad bought him, and I feel like she's using this to get him out of the house. My mum said that she isn't going to force me to get rid of him, and she'll leave it up to me. My sister has been mad since then, and keeps making comments about how she hopes that me taking my sweet time deciding what to do won't damage her baby. They are both expecting me to do the right thing, but I don't know if I want to. Does that make me bad? Am I the asshole because I want to keep my dog? P.S. My dog avoids my sister because she treats him bad if he's close, so it's not like he'll be all over her. In the comments, Can't Get Right 10 says, not the asshole. You need to get rid of your sister. Where's the baby daddy? OP says, I don't know. She was dating a security guy for a couple of months before they broke up, but she was also going out with some other guy that I never met. Not the asshole, and your sister is 20. She should have her own living space for this baby. Your dog isn't inconveniencing anyone if you're the one that walks it and bathes it. The baby will disturb everyone in that house and cry day and night. This is coming from someone with 2 children. I don't think your mum is thinking about how that's going to affect your life and schooling, and I really hope they don't expect you to be a live-in babysitter. Oh, and you just know the sister's gonna fob the baby off to OP. Neither the mum or the sister are home often, so who will look after the baby? And who will be selfish if they don't? If they're selfish enough to demand that you get rid of your dog, a precious memento of your dad, and beloved companion, they're selfish enough to demand free babysitting too, and get huffy and guilt trip if you say no. Not the asshole. Please do not get rid of the dog that your dad got you. Your sister is being selfish and dramatic. The dog can't harm her children. Make sure you demonstrate that you're a good dog owner, clean up after them, take them for walks, etc. Make sure they are cared for well, entertained, and microchipped in case they suddenly become lost, quote-unquote, due to your sister. You've gone through significant trauma, heartbreaking loss at a young age. Your dog is your family. Millions of people across the world have dogs and kids. In fact, most dog owners have family. Put simply, it's not an issue. Your sister is being uncaring and manipulative. Don't get rid of the dog based on her lies. Don't let them bully you. The right thing is to honor your dad's memory by giving that dog a great life with the person he bought the dog for. That's you. I hope you're okay. Stay strong. OP replies, I've always done my best to prove myself as a good owner. That was my dad's condition if I wanted to have a dog of my own and learn to be responsible for him. He made sure that I was the one doing the walks, cleaning after him, giving baths, feeding him every day, etc. No one else does it. And yeah, he got out once, and my dad got him chipped after that. And thanks, I appreciate that. My mum hasn't talked to me much, so it's felt like I haven't been able to say anything to anyone. When asked, can someone else take the dog, OP says, we don't have any family that could take him, but even if we did, I still don't think I can handle him being away from me. I'm not trying to make this hard on her on purpose or hurt her baby, it just doesn't feel fair. I really don't want to be the bad guy here. But you're not being the bad guy here, OP. Everyone else is, because they don't want the dog there, when the dog was never a problem in the past, and this is some bullshit propaganda that the dog existing in the space is inherently going to harm the baby, this, that, and the other. The dog is family. The dog is another family member, and they refuse to accept that. They wouldn't throw a cousin out of the house that was living with them. That cousin would still be a valid family member, but because they don't view the dog as family, they think it's expendable, and it's easier to just toss him out than it is to just coexist, apparently. Something's seriously wrong with your mum and with your sister. I'm sorry that it's not an easy situation for you, but with that said and done, you're not the asshole for not wanting to get rid of your dog. Absolutely not. And now, onto the update. I forgot that a lot of people wanted an update on what happened after my post. Sorry it took me so long. I read lots of people's comments on this, and I was really happy to know that I wasn't hurting my sister or her baby by having my dog around. A lot of you sent me some good info. I decided to show what some of you commented to my mum and sister as proof that the dog isn't bad, since she was so worried. Also told my mum that I'm not going to get rid of my dog because he means too much to me, and that would hurt him too. My mum agreed with me more after showing her the info and said my dog doesn't have to go anywhere. My sister seemed more mad after that, not just because of the info, but that I told a bunch of strangers our business. She didn't see the post though. My sister still kept pushing to get rid of him because she doesn't want to be around him while she's living there. My mum and her ended up having a big fight over it. There was lots of yelling and arguing for days until finally my sister said that she's leaving unless we get rid of him. She said it like a threat, I guess, because she thought that would make my mum make me give him away. My mum didn't want her to leave, but that's what she ended up doing because I wouldn't give up my dog. For months, it's been like this. She moved in with one of her best friends, I think, but she doesn't want to talk to my mum at all. For a long time, my mum was even more sad, and that actually made me start to feel guilty again because it seemed like this was all my fault. Things were not good for a while. My mum was talking to me less and less, and it felt like we were strangers living together instead of family. But she said that it wasn't my fault what happened, so it's not that she was mad at me for my sister leaving, she was just sad about everything, and that made her not talk or be around me. Finally, after months, Mum and me are talking better again, and she's actually spending a little more time with me. It's still not the same anymore though. My sister still hasn't called us, and I don't know when she's due, but it should be really soon. Everything didn't happen the way that I hoped it would, but I'm happy to still have my dog around. He helped me deal with everything. Thank you everyone for showing me that I made the right decision by keeping him. You guys made it easier to give them all this info about how wrong my sister was about dogs affecting pregnancy, and showed me that I wasn't doing anything bad for wanting to keep the last connection that I have to my dad. He's still here by my side, and I'm grateful for all the support. In the comments, your sister has the choice to do her own research on dogs bringing harm to babies. She has the choice to do what she believes is best for her and the baby, no matter how unreasonable it may seem to us outsiders. While I'm not the biggest fan of your sister from your original post and this update, I'm also glad that she has somewhere to stay for now, instead of upping and leaving in the heat of the moment with nowhere to go. It's not your fault this happened. I'm happy you're keeping your precious dog and your mum understanding the situation, but maybe it's the hormones or something else entirely. I'm curious as to why your sister is so adamant about her position to the point of staying with a friend instead of home. OP replies, she just never liked my dog. Booster Ben says, the moment she needs a babysitter, she'll be home again. OP should be prepared for another round of get rid of your dog then, because this time it keeps him from babysitting his nibbling. I doubt the sister thinks the dog actually causes harm. She just wants it gone and figured that pregnancy was unbeatable leverage. The poor kid loses his dad, has to move, and then is asked to get rid of his dog? Nope. I'm glad that his mum didn't make him and finally backed him up. Sister sounds like a mess. Yeah, but the mum is also a problem. I get that she's mourning, but that's not an excuse to emotionally check out from your kid. Stop spending time with them and stop talking with them. Absolutely. That seems like quite a dysfunctional family right there, and I highly doubt it's going to get more functional going into the future. Like, let's be honest. The writing does seem like it's a little bit on the wall there. What with the baby on the way, she doesn't have a solid amount of housing underneath her. Really does just feel like she's coming back. The mum's going to be over the moon that she finally has her baby back. She finally has the grandbaby in the house. And the cycle is going to repeat. Eventually, they're going to get rid of that dog. It kind of feels inevitable. And in a way, I can see the mum going, you know what, I've already had to try and mediate this problem before, but the pain of losing my daughter and grandbaby is stronger than the pain of losing this dog. So the dog's got to go. I genuinely see that happening, and I'm sorry if it does, OP. You don't deserve it. The dog doesn't deserve it. Everyone should be able to peacefully coexist. But apparently not. Apparently it's not possible. Still not the asshole. Thank you for the update. Our next post is by user PotatoModest427, and it's titled, Am I the asshole for waiting 3 months to prove my boyfriend wrong? So early in the summer, my boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 22 male, started watching Lost. One night, we were watching an episode after dinner, and my boyfriend asked what happened to one of the characters' girlfriends, Helen. Now, Helen's name is pronounced exactly how you spell it, like Helen Mirren. But my boyfriend's pronunciation is like Helene. I thought this was kind of funny and said, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Helen. To which he responded with, No, you're wrong, in a pretty flat, dismissive tone. For some reason, this really got to me. He's always super confident in his opinions and views, even when he's definitely incorrect, but he's never straight up said that I was wrong before. I didn't press it any further. Instead, I patiently waited until the next time someone said the character's name so that I could finally say I was right all along, you are the one who was wrong. Which I was only able to do 4 seasons and 3 months later. My boyfriend doesn't even remember telling me I was wrong, and thinks it's weird that I waited so long for this petty revenge. He also feels embarrassed that I brought up so much attention to him being wrong. Am I the asshole for holding on to this for so long? In the comments, Avid Learnerbot says, Not the asshole, I suppose, but how on earth did you manage to hold on to this for so bloody long? Respect, mate. Sheer respect. Is it that she was waiting this long to prove him wrong, or did it come up in conversation and she remembered the encounter in the moment? Sometimes this happens to me. It's not that I'm obsessing about it, but if the topic comes up, it might strike my memory in the moment. My husband loves to try and prove me wrong on the spot by Googling whatever it is in front of me and an audience, and then sulks when I'm right and certainly doesn't voice what he just read. And yes, it's every time. If I don't know the correct answer, I just say that I don't know. I'm not sure why it's so hard to do that. The more I read these stories, the more internet I digest, I realize just how petty everyone is. Not even how petty people can be, the potential for pettiness. No, some of you guys, yes you listening to this, you guys are petty assholes. I know a good bunch of you are petty assholes, and that's fine, but damn, can people be petty? Absolutely. I mean, this is a very petty thing to do. I don't think he's an asshole for doing it. I think it's so normalized in relationships now that being petty does not make you a bad person. Waiting 3 months to prove that Helen was not pronounced Helene, that's fine. I can see where he's coming from, though. He definitely can be upset that OP is pointing it out so hard and trying to prove that he is wrong. Like, sure, but if it's a repeated behavior of theirs to always have to be correct on things even when they're wrong, I think it deserves to be pointed out. I do. If you're going to be intentionally obtuse, you deserve to have a mirror put in your face. They are the clown, and their partner is the balloons the clown holds. And that's okay. Everyone's welcome to the circus. And now, on to the update. So my boyfriend and I have read the comments on my previous post. We've had a good laugh at all the comments calling us manipulative, gaslighting, and petty. I've enjoyed having my feelings and methods vindicated, and my boyfriend acknowledges that he shouldn't have been so curt. But I have to clarify that my boyfriend is a beautiful, kind, and sensitive man, and that his not remembering the incident in question is not evidence of him gaslighting me, but of just how silly this whole situation is. He's always been nothing less than honest with me, maybe even to a fault, and we've always had good communication. I love him, and we both find his mispronunciation really funny. But why didn't you Google it? Because that's not what Benjamin Linus would have done. He would plot and connive because he's a petty hoe. So that's exactly what I did. Boyfriend here. You may be asking, as my boyfriend, aka OP was, why and how the hell did I think her name was Helene? The explanation is as simple as it is stupid. I was also rewatching The Office at the time this incident took place, and there is a character named Helene in it. However, I recognize that I was an asshole in this situation. In the comments, Huge Season says, "May this type of relationship never find me. Does your boyfriend even care that he always thinks he's right? I'd rather be single forever than with either of them." Exactly. He's brushing it off now, but if the roles were flipped, would he have given him the same grace? It's not just about being wrong, it's the way that he made him feel in the process that really matters. Petty argument? Yeah, sure. Exactly how a married couple often communicates? Yes, also true. If the worst arguments you have with your spouse are this level of pettiness, then you're doing something right. Me and OP must come from the same school of pettiness. Right? I don't know what everyone's on about. I would 1000% wait 3 long months for vindication if somebody told me I was wrong when I wasn't. I'm not that patient. I'd go to a previous episode that I knew she was in and rewatch it that same day, then pull up the clip to show him right then and there. And then I put an annual calendar reminder that he was wrong and what it was about. Compared to my mother, you two don't even rate on the petty scale. As an example, one year, Mum and Dad were doing their taxes. Dad turned on Mum and said, "What did you do with all my money?" My mum said nothing, but for the next year kept track of every cent that he gave her and kept track of every cent that she spent. The next year, he said it again. Mum said, "I don't know what you did with all your money, but this is what you gave me, and this is where it went." It seems he wasn't even giving her half his pay. Needless to say, it never came up again. That is petty. Yeah, and it's examples like this that give me opinions like that one before. People like to make a big kerfuffle and a big huff about, they're a petty, vindictive asshole, and they shouldn't act like that. And it's like, go look at the inner workings of a lot of relationships, and you'll see that 2 petty assholes coexisting lovingly together with bullshit like that. That's how you keep life interesting. Not everything is black and white. Not everything is as it appears with these negatively framed stories on Reddit. Sometimes people just take the piss out of each other. Sometimes people are petty assholes. And you know what? Their partners are still with them, so obviously it's not that bad. May petty, stupid love find me one day. And if that's not your thing, that's completely alright, because it is someone else's. Thank you for the update, OP. I'm glad that we got to see it from his perspective and why he felt that way. I don't know if I believe him, but it's a good excuse, that's for sure. Our next post is by user Informal Advice 9463, and it's titled, "I, 26 female, want to end a 10-year-long friendship with my best friend, 25 female, over a stick." So I've been friends with Abigail for several years. We had met freshman year, and we hit it off, but for the rest of high school, she was homeschooled. I met my now fiancé, 27 male, also in high school, and eventually introduced his best friend Robert, 26 male, to Abigail. Robert and Abigail started dating, and so we formed a small group and would always hang out together. We all liked to go hiking, and often would look at hiking gear together and go on trails together. A couple of weeks ago, Robert got a walking stick. He had placed it in his car and noticed that the car door was open. He drove up to me and asked me to close the door. While driving up to me, I was facing the front door of the car and could not see what was blocking the car door. I just shut it without looking like he asked me to. He started screaming, telling me that his new walking stick was now broken and that I snapped it in half. I started crying and apologizing profusely, telling him that I was so sorry that I wasn't paying attention. I just went to close the door. I didn't even see it in there, but that wasn't good enough for him. Later that day, he texted me and asked me to reimburse him. I told him that I could give him a tenner, but that was all. He told me 10 was all it was worth, but that I need to give him 50 for the trouble. I was blown away by this, and I made the mistake of telling him the date of my payday, and when that day arrived, I had forgotten all about the stick and had taken a nap after school and work. I woke up to countless text messages and multiple group chats of him telling me to pay up and that it was my payday. I then texted him directly and asked for his information, and he decided to tell me that it was okay, and that I didn't actually have to pay him back. After he made a fool of me in front of all of my friends in every group chat that I was in with him, I still paid. Flash forward to yesterday, my fiancé, Robert, and Abigail all decide that they want to go hiking on a trail that is more dangerous than we normally do. I decide to stay home, so the rest of the story will be a mix of what Abigail and my fiancé told me. Abigail decided to buy a $100 fancy walking stick and wanted to test it out on the trail. I joked with her before going on the trail that the trail was known for being more intense. It might not be the best idea. But she didn't take my comments seriously, and I was just joking too. Hours pass, and I get a phone call from my fiancé telling me that he was on the way home and that Robert is in the back screaming, "You break it, you buy it. You break it, you buy it." Apparently on the trail, Abigail's stick got stuck in a rock, and while the boys kept pushing ahead, she pulled it out and it snapped in order to catch up with them. Abigail says that if my fiancé wasn't going so fast, then it wouldn't have happened, and blamed him for breaking it. Robert obviously took Abigail's side, and for the rest of the hike, hounded on my fiancé for the payment. My fiancé and I are both in college, and I'm between jobs, and we don't have $100 to throw away on a high-end walking stick. They both know this, and that night, Abigail texted my fiancé a screenshot of the walking stick, circled the price, and wrote in, "I know money is hard right now, but I need my stick, so I'm going to order it tonight, and you can pay me back as soon as you get the chance." Abigail and Robert both have stable jobs and are not in college. I got mad and told them that my fiancé would not be paying for something that he didn't break, and Abigail shouldn't have even brought the stick on that trail. They were pissed and texted us endlessly saying that we were in debt to them and that we owe them, and it was only right to pay them back. I think what pissed me off the most is that all through the years, every time we went somewhere, I drove and paid for gas. I paid for dinners, I paid for movie tickets and outdoor activities, and they never once paid me back for any of it. I never even thought to ask them either, and here they are yelling at us to pay up, and we are being ridiculous. Time and time again, they both have put money before friendship. Do I put this behind me and just pay them, or do I leave? In the comments, the logistics of this situation don't make sense. He drove up to her with the door open and asked her to close the door for him? What? 1. Did he throw the walking stick in the back seat with the door already open? Did he know the stick was blocking the door? Why did he not warn her about the stick when asking her to close the door? 2. Is it possible to drive with the door open on new cars? There must be a whole bunch of alarms going off, right? 3. He really asked someone else to close the door for him? What a lazy piece of trash. Get your ass up, walk the all of 5 feet, and close your own damn door. OP replies, "Hi. Okay, so the trail has a small little gravel loop that you're technically not supposed to park on, but he did it anyways. Robert and my fiancé were talking when he put the stick in, so when he closed the door, it didn't fully shut. He has an older car, but I also don't think he was paying much attention, but when he started driving, the car did start beeping at him that the door wasn't shut. He did the gravel loop to pull out and saw that I was walking towards the car loop when he stopped and asked me to shut it. I do admit that I wasn't paying attention, so I just opened the door and re-shut it a bit hard to make sure the door shut, but in doing that, the stick snapped. That is when he started to make a fuss that it had broke. In my defense, he has a lot of tint on his windows and he didn't mention the stick was blocking the door. Another commenter says, "Not sure if I'm misinterpreting, but did you pay $50 for a $10 stick for the trouble?" OP says, "Sorry for the misunderstanding. In short, I did only end up paying the 10. So when he texted about the payment, I told him that I could give him a 10 right then and there. He then said that it really only costed 10, but 50 would be nice for the trouble, then asked how I knew that it was really only $10. I told him that 10 was all I had until the 20th, which was my payday, and he said that I could keep it until then, that he understood my money struggles. I assumed he was being nice, so on the 20th, when he flipped out in all the group chats and I texted him, I still only sent him the $10. Now looking back on it, I really do feel like he was expecting the 50, and that was why he said I could wait until I got paid." Another commenter says, "Two nutjobs found each other and formed a personality from hell. Please stop interacting with them. They are so toxic to you and your fiancé. Sometimes we meet others who use us. This is what happened to you. Bye-bye, and don't let the door hit you. And say this ASAP. Guys, this feels like a setup. Hey, I'm just sitting in my car. Can you come close the door for me? Ugh, you broke my stick in the door. Give me money. That is a con. A scam, right? He did it on purpose to make her give him money, and then her friend got a new stick. $100, she says. Then when it's convenient and she needs to catch up, it breaks. This feels like they're both working together to get money out of you both. I'm not sure why, but that's a lot of convenient situations that need compensation. Yeah, I'm not buying it. These two sound like dick-headed scammers that have some sort of group psychosis going on. What an absolute psychopath to start blowing you up in every group chat to embarrass you over something that was his fault. Now that you talked more about the car situation and closing the door, that's a setup. You didn't do anything wrong. He's the one that had the stick jamming the door. He came up to you and said, "Can you close my door?" There was never any second where he goes, wait, hold up. Can you move the stick first? Because if you close the door right now, it's going to break the stick. Can you just give it a second? He never said that. He just came up to you and said, "Close the door, please." Yeah, no, these two people are sickos. They're genuinely not good people. Both of them. The entire situation was just set up to get money out of you and scam you. They are users. I hope that you never talk to these people again. You're not the asshole. And now, onto the update. So my original post is from over 2 years ago. It's also been taken down since then by mods for receiving the max amount of interactions for non-throwaway accounts. However, I think it's still able to be viewed on my profile. If you have any additional questions, I'd be happy to clear those up. I'm not scared of them finding this anymore. Now for the update. I'm happy to let you guys know that I dropped those scammers. We never did pay Abigail the money she requested. We didn't break it, so we didn't buy it. Although sometimes I do feel unexplained guilt towards this situation. Like I said, our friendship was over 10 years long. So it wasn't easy or immediate to drop her from my life, but it was needed. We still follow each other on Instagram, but it's rare that we interact. I'm sorry for no explosive situation, but I'm glad you all helped me come to terms with leaving that relationship in the past. My fiancé, however, hasn't easily gotten rid of Robert. After moving into the real world, Robert followed my fiancé everywhere it felt. He applied for the same job, works for the same company, and copies every move my fiancé makes. He laughs it off and lets it go, but every now and then I'm reminded of this situation and I get annoyed all over again. But to give my fiancé some credit, we aren't all as close as we once were. TLDR, we never paid them the money that they requested, and after 2 long years, I can officially say that I have dropped them from my life. In the comments, Miserable Fennel says, "The TLDR isn't exactly accurate though. They're not dropped from her life since they're still following each other on socials, occasionally talking, and Robert velcroed himself to OP's fiancée. Unless this is one of those peaceful slow burns where you just let things fizzle out rather than outright saying that you're done with them. But hey, at least they're not hanging out together anymore. Reducing one's optional levels of crazy is always a wise decision. Robert is trying to single white female OP's fiancée, dating the best friend, now the work stuff, matching outfits and haircuts next. Finally, an explanation for why the original post was so weird. Lol, I was reading it like, what kind of sticks are those people buying? I was waiting for the reveal that they are actually all dogs. That would have been a fantastic twist. They're like, I was actually a dog this whole time, guys. something, the Goosebumps novel series, am I right? Anyway, not a particularly great update by all accounts. I mean, they did get rid of them in some respects, but yeah, they're still following them on social media. Robert is closer to OP's fiancée than ever before, and for some reason OP's fiancée is kind of just cool with this happening. I don't know how I'd feel if I were in OP's shoes, being like, why are we still interacting with these sociopathic leeches? Why are we unable to remove them from our legs? How are they still there after 2 years? Rip them off, please. I don't want them there anymore. Can we have some normalcy in our life? God, please? But hey, you know what? If you're unable to set those boundaries and rid yourself of these people, and he's not going to Velcro himself to your partner if he does jump jobs again, I don't think there's much you can really do about that. It's not illegal to follow someone around in jobs. It's weird for sure, but he's not technically doing anything wrong. So thank you for the update to the story, OP. That is very weird. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.